Maybe you are confused. What does it mean by psychosocial development? In this video, you will learn the 8 stages of psychosocial development by Erikson. And this will keep you interested. Without further ado, let's get started! First, let us find out what is psychosocial development. Psychosocial development is the development of both pro-social behavior and antisocial behavior. Psychosocial development involves changes not only in children's overt behavior but also in their social cognition. For example, they become able to take the perspective of others and to understand that people's behavior is based on their knowledge and desires. And this would fall to the 8 stages of psychosocial development by Erikson. Erikson was an ego psychologist who developed one of the most popular and influential theories of development. Erikson believed that personality developed in a series of stages. While his theory was impacted by psychoanalyst Sigmund Freud's work, Erikson's theory centered on psychosocial development rather than psychosexual development. Erikson's theory described the impact of social experience across the whole lifespan. Erikson was interested in how social interaction and relationships played a role in development and growth of human beings.
The mother entertains her baby by singing a nursery song with a toy. Then, along with her elder daughters, they are trying to play with the baby and one tries to feed her. But the baby is confused if she can trust them.
The first stage is infancy, trust versus mistrust. The first stage of Erikson's theory of psychosocial development occurs between birth and 1 year of age and is the most fundamental stage in life. Because an infant is utterly dependent, developing trust is based on dependability and quality of the child's caregivers. At this point in development, the child is utterly dependent upon adult caregivers for everything they need to survive, including food, love, warmth, safety, and nurturing. If a caregiver fails to provide adequate care and love, the child will come to feel that they cannot trust and depend upon the adults in their life. If a child successfully develops trust, the child will feel safe and secure in the world. Caregivers who are inconsistent, emotionally unavailable, or rejecting contribute to the feelings of mistrust in the children under their care. Failure to develop trust will result in fear and a belief that the world is inconsistent and unpredictable. Sweetie, should I put this on you or you're gonna do it on your own?
Mommy, I'm gonna do it on my own na lang. Mommy, finish na.
Wow, very good!
So at this point, we are in the stage 2 of Erikson's psychosocial development, which falls under the early childhood. In this point, it conflicts about autonomy versus shame and doubt. At this point of development, children are starting to gain a little independence, and they also make basic actions and simple decisions. By allowing children in making choices and gain control, parents or caregiver are helping their children to have the sense of autonomy. Success during this psychosocial development leads to feeling of autonomy, while failure leads to feeling of shame and doubt. Children who successfully finish this stage feel secure and confident, while those do not are left with self-doubt and feeling of shame.
April has been trying to put the headband on her head, but she can seem to get it right.
However, her mother saw that her daughter was struggling to put the headband and was willing to encourage her and help her daughter. But apparently, her daughter was determined to do it on her own. At this point, April is starting to feel the initiative to do some activities without the help of others. However, April also feels guilty because she is unable to put the headband.
Hi guys! For this video, I'll be giving you a short explanation about the topic of initiative versus guilt by Erik Erikson, the 8th theory of human development. So, let's define first what is initiative versus guilt. According to Merriam-Webster Dictionary, the initiative is the power or opportunity to do something before others do, while the guilt is a bad feeling caused by thinking or knowing you have done something wrong. At itong topic na to ay naka-under siya sa preschool sa stage of human development. So, in preschool, as shown in the video example, the young 5-year-old girl is showing initiative by trying out new things and learn basic principles. But at the end of the video, she developed a sense of guilt and does not express herself.
Flordy finds science lesson difficult, but her parents are willing to help her each night with her homework. She also asks the teacher for help and starts to receive encouragement and praise for her efforts. Chico also struggles with science, but his parents are uninterested in assisting him with his nightly homework. He feels bad about the pure grades he received on his science assignments, but is not sure what to do about the situation. His teacher is critical of his work but does not offer any extra assistance or advice. Eventually, Chico just gives up and his grades become even worse. While both children struggled with this aspect of his school, Flordy received the support and encouragement she needed to overcome these difficulties and still build a sense of mastery. Chico, however, lacked the social and emotional encouragement he needed. In this area, Flordy will likely develop a sense of industry, where Chico will be left with feelings of inferiority.
Pak! Formal, hindi mo kaya yun. Ito naman kasi si Princess, hindi niya sinabi, tapos na palang report niya. We are here now in the stage 4 on Erik Erikson theory, the industry versus inferiority. Industry versus inferiority is the 4th stage of Erik Erikson theory of psychosocial development, which happened after the 3rd stage of initiative versus guilt. The stage occurred during childhood between the ages of approximately 6 to 11. According to Erikson's theory, people progress through a series of stages as they develop and grow, unlike many other developmental theories. Erikson addressed change that occur across the entire lifespan from birth to death. Ang psychosocial theory ay hindi nakafocus sa physical change o yung pagbabago ng physical na pagkaanyuan na nangyayari habang lumalaki ang mga bata, but rather on the socio-emotional factors that nakaka-influensya sa psychological growth ng individuals. Itong stage na ito ay isang kakayahan na nagko-contributes sa emotional health throughout life during both childhood and adulthood. Ang pagkabigong makabisado ang mga critical tasks, however, can result in social and emotional struggle that lasts a lifetime. According kay Erikson ulit, this stage is vital in developing self-confidence. During school and other social activities, children receive praise and attention for performing various tasks such as reading, writing, drawing, and solving problems. Kids who do well in school are more likely to develop a sense of competence and confidence. they feel good about themselves and their ability to succeed. Children who struggle with schoolwork may have a hard time developing these feelings of sureness. Instead, they may be left with feelings of inadequacy and inferiority. At this stage, it is important for both parents and teacher to offer support and encouragement. However, adults should be careful not to equate achievements with acceptance and love. Unconditional love and support from adults can help all children through this stage, but particularly those who may struggle with feelings of inferiority. Children who are overpraised, on the other hand, might develop a sense of arrogance. Clearly, balance plays a major role on this point in development. Even if children struggled in some areas of school, encouraging kids in areas in which they excel can help foster feelings of competence and achievements. It is important to note that this is a theory and the psychosocial theory has received some criticism. One major area of criticism stems from the idea that the exact mechanisms for resolving conflicts and moving from one stage to the next are not well described. The theory fails to provide details about how an individual can move from one stage to the next. So while understanding these stages can be helpful, it is important to keep this in mind. Mare, next na, tapos na ako.
Erika is studying one night, but suddenly her boss called her. And at that point, Erika is confused to what should she prioritize first.
Identity. It involves the experience, relationships, beliefs, values, and memories that make up a person's subjective sense of self. Next, self-sameness. A sense of continuity within the self and in interaction with others. Ito yung stage na as we grow up, we can sense the different is us and we gain a courage to start a conversation with others. For example, si Boy is growing up with the same attitude, but at the same time, he have the courage to interact with other people. Next is uniqueness, a frame to differentiate between self and interaction with others. So, we can differentiate ourselves with others while we are talking to other people. Example, me. So, as a girl, I can differentiate myself to other girls while talking to them with our similarities and other things that we talk about. Next is psychosocial development. Mental and physical health for adolescents. So, this is the stage that we conduct an experiment with ourselves by do a mental awareness and being aware with our physical health. Example, a girl is growing up, is being aware with her body and physical health. And as she grows, as her mental health is being tested, so she needs to conduct a mental health awareness to herself. Next, last is rule conclusion. So, this is where kids don't know what is happening with their parent and what they do in their everyday life. But as they grow up, they will understand the difference between a child to adults. Because a child is just used to eating and sleeping every day. And they just sleep in the household chores. And while they grow up, like in college, they will experience to have a job while studying. That significant of changes in their lives will confusion them because they will not know that they should do. First, if they pick to go to work every day, they will have no time to study, and while they study, they will not do their work. So this is the stage that is very confusing to most people as they grow up.
Jaco and Princess are high school lovers. They spend so much time showing their love and care for each other. There's a time where they are eating to celebrate their victory after they pass the college entrance exam. Time passes by when they are both in a university. Suddenly, their relationship starts to be complicated. Jaco decided to end his relationship with Princess. Princess felt lonely and anxious. She started to have trust issues and isolate herself, thinking that people will always love her at first, but hurt her the most in the end. The sixth stage is young adulthood. Yes, young adulthood. Intimacy versus isolation. Wow, pang-anim na tayo. Young adults need to form intimate, loving relationships with other people. Success leads to strong relationships, while failure results in loneliness and isolation. This stage covers the period of early adulthood when people are exploring personal relationships. Erikson believed it was vital that people develop close and committed relationships with other people. Those who are successful at this stage will form relationships that are enduring and secure. Remember that each step builds on skills learned in previous steps. Erikson believed that a strong sense of personal identity was important for developing intimate relationships. Studies have demonstrated that those with a poor sense of self tend to have less committed relationships and are more likely to struggle with emotional isolation, loneliness, and depression.
Florida came home from work with a tired look on her face, so MJ tried to ask and comfort her daughter because she suddenly felt that Florida is not okay and looks like she is being unmotivated.
To be honest, ma'am, I feel unmotivated. I feel like I don't know what to give up.
Anak, normal lang yan sa buhay. Kaya dapat, magpahinga ka lang, pero huwag kang susuko.
Thank you, Mom.
Ayun. I am Princess Ayan Novales from Group 2. So my topic is the second to the last and the last stage of Erikson's psychological development. So I'm gonna discuss first the second to the last, which is the middle adulthood, or the stage 7, and what we call the generativity versus stagnation. So it says here that generativity versus stagnation is the seventh stage of Erikson's theory of psychological development. This stage takes place during middle adulthood between the approximate ages of 40 and 65. And it comes before the eighth and final stage of development according to Erikson's theory, which is integrity versus despair, and I'm gonna discuss it later. So it says here also that during this stage, middle-aged adults strive to create or nurture things that will outlast them, often by parenting children or fostering positive changes that benefit others, contributing to society, and doing things to promote future generations are important needs at the generativity versus stagnation stage of development. So, I'm gonna discuss to you na kung ano yung naintindihan ko about the generativity and stagnation. So, sa generativity, ang naintindihan ko dun is, ang sabi nila, this refers to making your mark on the world by caring for others. So, like, for example, parang, parang may dito yung generativity is yung parang may about sa mga contribute mo, just like that, contribute mo to others, like for example mentoring others, just like that. Okay, I'm gonna give you the situation, like for example yung friend ko is nakita kong parang unmotivated na siya, parang ganun, tapos parang nafe-feel ko na mag-give up na siya, just like that. And ang gagawin ko sa kanya, I'm gonna help her by asking her and talking to her and like giving advice to her na okay lang yan, ganito, ganyan, ganun. Parang, alam mo yun, parang alam ko sa sarili ko na matutulungan ko siya, just like that. And in the other hand is the stagnation. Okay, so parang stagnation refers to the failure to find a way to contribute. So, this is one of the characteristic of stagnation is, alam mo yun, parang self-centered. For example, ako, sometimes I am a self-centered person. Pero sometimes lang naman yan, hindi naman yung palagi. Parang ang nangyayari sa akin kasi, parang alam mo yun, parang gusto ko, ako lagi yung susunod, parang gano'n, ako lagi yung bida, parang gano'n, parang hindi na, what do you call this one? Hindi na pumapasok sa isip ko na tumulong sa ibang tao, just like that. Tapos parang hindi nag-i-improve yung parang wala akong efforts to improve myself, just like that. Pero, okay, sometimes lang yun ha. Sometimes lang yun. Okay, I guess that's it sa stage na to. Kasi, yun lang din yung pagkakaintindi ko. So, di ba? Ang dali-dali lang. Again, the generativity refers to making your marks. Kung ano yung, or what we call, parang kung ano yung makakontribute nyo sa other people. And stagnation is is being a self-centered, parang ganun, or no efforts to improve yourself.
Did I live a meaningful life?
MJ is gonna look back on her life and ask herself if she really lives a meaningful life.
Yes, I did.
Okay, hello again. So, this is the very, very last topic of the Erikson'S Psychological Development, this is the last stage also, which is the maturity, or what we call the integrity versus despair. Okay, so it says here that integrity versus despair is the 8th and final stage of Erikson's stage theory of psychological development. This stage begins at approximately age 65 and ends at death. Oh my god. Okay, psychologists, counselors, and nurses today use the concepts of Erikson's stages when providing care of aging patients. And it says also that Erikson's theory suggests that people pass through 8 distinctive developmental stages as they grow and change through life, while many developmental theorists tend to focus purely on childhood events. Erikson was one of the few theorists to look at development across the entire course of the lifespan. He was also one of the first to view the aging process itself as part of human development. So, ang pagkakaintindi ko here sa very last stage of Erikson's psychological development, which is the integrity, is all about the ability to look back on their life with a sense of accomplishment or fulfillment. Like ang isang characteristic nitong integrity is yung acceptance, ganun, or like lack of regrets, just like that. Like for example, parang contento, parang dito sa stage ito, yung feel mo na, oh my gosh, contento na ako sa buhay ko and I'm really happy about, I'm really happy sa life ko, just like that. And like, wala akong regrets, or hindi ako nag-regret sa mga nangyari sa akin before, just like that. Kasi at some point, naging masaya ako dun sa mga panahon na yun, just like that. And then, despair refers to the looking back on life with feelings of regret, shame, or disappointment. And isa dito na characteristic is yung bitterness, just like that. Or like parang sabi dito is madami ka din daw regrets. And feeling that life was wasted. Parang ganun, like parang isip mo na, alam mo yun, parang hindi sobrang meaningful ng life mo, parang ganun. Tapos parang hindi mo nagawa yung mga gusto mong gawin, kung ano yung mga magpapasaya sa'yo. Tapos iba naman parang may mga ginawa ka na sobrang pinagsisisihan mo. And ayun na. Okay guys, that's it. And sana po dagdagan kahit konti lang yung knowledge nyo about this topic. And thank you then for watching. Give us a like or a heart react, and please share also this one. And that's all. Thank you.